Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monday. How quickly does Monday come around, right? It's amazing, though. I love Mondays. So welcome to Monday's live Q&A. Today, I am at home, so I'm not going to be chewing my hair and nearly been attacked by the birds this week compared to last week if you tuned in live or replay when I was outside. And so today I wanted to have a bit of a focus on mindset because, and I am back at home on my computer. So I know that previously when people did comments, some of them didn't come through. So I'm going to just, okay. Hey Kirsty, hey Haley. So before we get started, I do just want to touch, because the group is growing, so I know that there's a lot of people coming into the group who don't necessarily know who I am and what I do. So before we get started, I wanted to just have a bit of a chat about that so that people can get to know me a little bit more compared to the other people that have known me a little while or have met me in person. So, hello, Kirsty. So, you know, there's a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, managers, leaders, passionate for growth individuals who want to gain more clarity and confidence to talk about themselves, their business, or their career. You know, they have aspirations to be a speaker, to be able to communicate more effectively at networking events, you know, do presentations or run workshops. Well, that's something that I speak and I help to entrepreneurs, business owners, managers, leaders, and passionate for growth individuals be able to achieve this. So I can work one-on-one with people and run workshops in order to help you do that. So if you're watching live now or on replay, I just want to ask, you know, how is business going? How is work going for you in that area? And to think about, if you had more confidence with clarity and being able to talk about yourself and your business, what would that mean to you? So if you're watching live, pop it in the comments. If you're watching it on replay and we haven't really met before, then just let me know, yeah, how is that going for you, and what would having a little bit more confidence mean to you as well. So I just wanted to do a little bit of an intro for those people who have joined the group and just acknowledge and welcome you to the group. And I hope that you do get some help and value out of it. We do this weekly every Monday for Q&A, and I'll chat a little bit about a topic, and then it's open to conversation and chats within there. So there's quite a few people coming on. Hey Matthew, hey Marcia, hey Carrie. Hey everybody. So I wanted to talk. I hope people don't mind, but I have some tea with me today. I hope that's okay. And so I wanted to chat a little bit about mindset. Hey Courtney, because I always find that mindset is really important when it comes to communication, whether it's one-on-one or whether it's to a group. Then we have to be able to work on our mindset. And it's something that I really work on with my clients, is around mindset, because things can happen to us. Sometimes we can do the practice, we can do the preparation, and we have technical failures. We have just different things going on that we potentially don't always think about. So we have to be able to be in a good state of mindset to be able to overcome those different challenges and not come away from a talk feeling rejected, feeling humiliated, feeling like a failure, feeling like you didn't give as much as you wanted to give in that presentation or that talk or when you met someone. And, you know, and I'm no exception to the rule. You know, I do have times where I feel like all of those as well. Sometimes before, sometimes afterwards. Then I can kind of go down that rabbit hole of thinking those things. And it's really about the mindset part of it is around, you know, what are you going to do if and when that happens? Because it's okay to feel those feelings, but it's about, do you have a fixed mindset on it and think either I'll never do it again, or think, oh, I'm just going to go back to what I would normally say to people. So, you know how in my videos I will give you different things to use. So it means that you may change the way in which you communicate with people, approach people, which is always a little bit scary when we change, right? And say you don't get the response that you hope for in the first time, does that mean that you would never do that again? So that's why I talk about having a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset, because we know that things don't always happen first time. So we have to be able to go, hey, it didn't work out the way that I thought it did. The person didn't respond the same, but hey, let's sit down and work out, is there something that I can improve on? Is there something that I could practice a little bit more for next time? And then that puts you into that growth mindset. And the reason I talk about this is because it became apparent to me when I was talking to someone, and I had had a couple of days where I just felt a little bit sorry for myself. I didn't achieve what I felt like I wanted to achieve out of a situation that I was in. And then I had a couple of days where I just really didn't feel like doing an awful lot. And then, 2 days later, I just got my pen out, I got my paper out, and I went, right, okay, where can I start improving? Where can I start changing? Like, what's the gap in my business, in my own skills? Where can I start to really improve that? So it's about changing that mindset of going, okay, that didn't work this time. Let's see if I just need to improve on that skill. Because when we learn new skills, we have to keep practicing it. We keep having to rewire that part of our brain to keep doing it and keep moving forward. So I know that for a few of you have taken on board things that I have said in the videos or in phone conversations that I've had with you, and it's really started to go the way that you wanted it to go. But what I suppose I want to ask is, we sometimes have that for maybe a few weeks, and then something in our life can happen personally, professionally, and it can put everything that we started to do new and change to the back burner, and we start to go into default. And especially when we are talking about networking and we are talking about being in front of people, is that we can have really busy days, and we end up at a networking event and someone asks us what we do, and you suddenly just head out with the default and you go, oh gosh, like I've spent weeks being able to come into this and change what I'm saying and be able to respond better, and then that one day you just go, oh gosh, I've just completely messed that up. And these things happen, because I do it as well. Some days, someone asks me what I do, and sometimes I just have a mental blank and go to default, because it does take a lot of energy. It does take a lot of thinking process and being ready for it to be able to change as well and not be into default. So I proposed a question to all of you and pop them in the comments, is that, I suppose, what's some things that you do around mindset if things don't go the way that you intended them to, or they just you didn't achieve what you set out to do? What's some of the things that you do to help with that mindset? And have you ever looked at yourself and thought, do I have a growth mindset when it comes to change, or can I be very fixed with a mindset? And there's no right or wrong in this, but it's just looking at becoming more aware of it and being able to have that growth mindset. Hey, Brookie. And for me, it's definitely taking some time for myself to write down where do I don't have the skills that I really would like to have. What's the gap that I'm potentially missing? And then start to write that down and think, okay, can I do this myself? Do I need to look at getting help from someone else to do this? Do I need to read some books? Do I need to put that into my diary every day? So recently I have, put in my diary to do an hour of study each and every single day, Monday to Friday. Looked at going to events, different courses, to be able to learn that skill that I feel that I need to do that I can't potentially do on my own. So it's thinking about So Matthew said, you reevaluate, adapt, implement is my go-to. That's a really good one to do. And I would always say to everybody to, after events, after networking, especially if you're in the beginning stages of changing and implementing new communication, new words, new approaches, then definitely do the reevaluating, adapting, and then implementing it. Definitely that's an amazing one, Matthew, to do. Does anybody else do anything the same or anything different? Hey, Scott. So I'm going to have a drink first. We're just talking a little bit about mindset. And also as well, I suppose, talking about mindset, if you challenge yourself to do something that is really out of your comfort zone, then it's looking at how to prepare for that as well. Courtney loves doing an after action review. Hey Scott, that's really good. And because Matthew and Courtney that have asked these questions, do you do that each and every single time, or only after you feel that it didn't go as planned, or do you do that all the time? Would be good to hear. I'll wait till you guys type it in. All the time. So Matthew does it all the time. That's amazing. That's really good. Give yourself a pat on the back there, Matthew, because that's something that I would definitely encourage people to do after everything. Definitely. You want to really be, when we're learning new skills and changing, and we want to improve ourselves, but we also want to improve the experience for the people that we're helping and the people that we're with, then definitely being able to, we want to be able to, hey Amanda, we want to be able to do that after each and every single time, because then it's one of those things where we can tell our brain, like when you're doing that, you get to reward yourself as well. So sometimes it is taking those times, even if it's before going to bed, being able to just write it down and think, what did I do really, really well? What's something that I could really improve on? And I'm a big believer on manifesting these things, putting it out there to the universe. And if there's a gap in there, that's something that I always focus on. If I think, right, there's a gap in something that I need to learn, and I think, right, okay, I'm just going to manifest that and put that as my intention of, right, this is a skill that I really want to learn. I really don't know how to go about it, and let's just see what happens. And I've had some amazing stuff over the last couple of weeks of being offered to come to certain things and learn a skill that I want to learn. So sometimes it is as well of like when you write it down is setting that bit of that intention and putting it out there to the universe. If that is something that you believe in and it's something that you definitely would look to do, then I'm a big believer on that. And I've had some amazing things come my way from doing that. And the other mindset is, and I was talking before I started going through the comments, is that around the mindset for going to the next level. Because something that I do find when I speak to people, and definitely clients and definitely people within the group or people that I meet, and a lot of people will say, like, I just want to feel relaxed, confident when I'm speaking, and I know all my words, I know everything, and I don't have anxiety, I don't have fears. And one of the things that I always say to people and say is that, but if you ever get to that stage, it means that you've become so comfortable and then you're not growing to the next level. And that's fine if that's your goal and that's your aim of where you want to get to in your own current situation. But I always say is like, get to there, but then stretch the goal out and go to the next level. Because I feel like if we don't have some form of feeling uncomfortable, some sort of fear or anxiety, not to the point where it takes over and you don't actually take action, but you want to have something that keeps you pushing forward, keeps you going to the next level. Because I always want to say as well is that, you know, as you move to the next level, you're then going to gain clients and people around you who you can then help go to that next level. So I always say, don't ever, you know, feel like you're just staying comfortable. Keep growing and keep evolving, because that's really where that growth comes into it. The mindset is that other challenge to be able to do that. So, you know, I would always say in terms of communication and speaking is that don't ever just say that I just want to feel super relaxed, super confident. And yes, you can get all of those, but then it's aim to the next level. Because even for myself, you know, I've got some amazing things coming up early next year. I've got an amazing speaking gig coming up, and I'm pushing myself to the next level. Like, there's certain parts of where I go to speak, I feel really confident, really comfortable, but then I need to go to the next level of where I want to go to in order for me to grow. But that comes obviously with mindset within that, to be able to grow myself to that next level, to take those risks. And whatever we do, it's really just about stretching that goal. So my question to, or if anybody has any questions on that, feel free to ask me, and I'm going to propose a question to all of you, is that we are coming to the end of 2019. Some of you may already have been planning some things for 2020. So I know a few of you in here that have been wanting to grow your workshops, grow your speaking abilities. You know, what sort of some things that you want to achieve in 2020? Like, what's some of the things that you want to push yourself towards doing? And if anybody does have any questions around what we're talking about today, feel free to pop them in the comments as well. I'm just checking who's all on. I'm going to propose that to Courtney and Matthew, because I know that you guys have got stuff going on next year. Yeah. So Matthew's got some live videos. Matthew's going to do one before the end of the year. The blog that he put in the group a couple of weeks ago, I have challenged him to do a live in the group because it's about his story. So definitely I'm going to say, Matthew, you need to get one of those done before the end of the year. Courtney wants to do workshops in Melbourne and Sydney. That's amazing. That's really, really good. So you're definitely, you know, you've got that goal to really stretch yourself in there. And I'll ask you, Courtney, in that is that do you have contacts in there, down in those places? Because again, it's another goal, another stretch to be then taking it to somewhere else where people might not really know you too well, which is always amazing to do. I'm going to have to take a screenshot of people's things so that I can hold you accountable to what you tell me that you're going to be doing. No, so Courtney doesn't have any contacts down there, which is amazing, because I feel that that's another thing, is don't get comfortable doing things just in your area. Like, stretch yourself to go to another place, because, you know, there's so many people that could definitely benefit from what you have. So that's really, really amazing. Hey Katie, hey Francis. And again, like, you've got a whole load of time to really plan that and do what you need to do in order to attract people to those workshops. So that's absolutely amazing. And for myself, if people have seen some of my posts, that I'm about to go back home to Scotland. And it's been one of my dreams to be able to go back home and run my workshops, and obviously spend time with family. And as much as I've got clients there and I do have contacts, it still will be going back to a place where, you know, I haven't been home in 5 years. I've got a massive following on Facebook, but it's still one of those things, isn't it? It's still a massive risk to go somewhere where people, and for me, people that knew me back home in Scotland, I was an employee. So then to be here and have my business, then it's very different to go home and be able to do that. But I am going to be working with some of my clients back home to run some workshops, which is going to be amazing. So, you know, it's thinking of those things of where else can you go to be able to do what you're doing. And again, Facebook Lives for Matthew is a massive one, because you're obviously going to be able to reach a lot of people doing that. So depending on where you're living, I know for some of you that you are living in smaller towns. So being able to, you know, do lives, do different things like that where you can reach more people from where you are. Courtney's got family in Melbourne, so it'd be nice to see them. Exactly, and that's always a bonus. That's what I say. I say, at least I'm getting to see my family. I love doing both. That's always a bonus, is find out if you're wanting to travel and go to different places, maybe pick places where you potentially have friends or family and you get to see them at the same time, plus they might be able to help you as well and reach more people. So I know for a few of you, Katie and Francis, we're talking about mindset today, and we're talking about what some of the things that you would potentially do to help with your mindset, whether it's with speaking gigs or going to networking events or workshops. Then we're talking about sometimes they might not go as planned, or what we kind of set our goal and intention to, and it's how do you move forward from that. So I was talking about being able to sit down and write out, you know, all the amazing good things that you did do and what's that one thing that you want to change. And from a few people here talked about the same thing, is being able to, every single time you speak or every time you do an event, is really having time to sit down and know what happened, know where you're going. But I would always say, always focus on the positives and always just think of one thing to change, because we can really get in our headspace around all of the things that we did wrong. We start to give voice to that inner voice, the volume of our inner voice, and then it can really spiral out of control. So, you know, if you've ever had time where you just thought it didn't happen for me, I felt like a failure, I felt like humiliated or loss of control, all of those things that can come with communication, is that, you know, sometimes we might need some time to have a day where we just feel, you know, not that great about ourselves. But then it's like, right, let's get a pen and a bit of paper and really start to plan that out. So we've been talking about having a growth mindset on everything that we do around communication, because it is one of those things that sometimes things can just come out of our mouth and we haven't even thought about that process or what we're going to do. So that's been really, really good. Has anybody got any questions from any of what we've chatted about? Or feel free to share some things that you do in terms of your mindset. For me, a lot of it's, I do a lot of meditation. So I get up anywhere between 4:20 and 4:50 in the morning, and I do my meditation and my journaling and all of those things that I need to do for my mindset for the day. So it depends on what you have as well, and what some things that you have that you can do within your day to help with your mindset. And then doing some things before going to bed as well. Because if it's new to you to speaking, getting on live, doing all of these things, a lot of our anxiety and fears and inner voices can just suddenly come out of nowhere, and they're very, very loud in our lives. So we have to be able to work on some of those mindsets. And I'm supposed to ask everybody, has everybody got that inner voice? I know that I've asked that quite a few times on lives, but has everybody got that inner voice that decides sometime to take over your life and be very loud in that moment? Because I don't reckon it's just me. I'll see if any questions come through. And let me know if there is anything with the lives that I do every Monday. If there is anything that you would like me to cover, then please let me know, and I'm more than happy to cover some stuff and then ask questions. Matthew goes for a walk, fresh air helps, coffee and music helps my mindset too. Definitely. Definitely. I like the music when I've had a win and I felt like I've really, nailed something that I've been a little bit scared about and I've been able to do. I put the music up as my reward. So my meditation is before, and then I have my wild music that comes on afterwards, and I have a little boogie around the house by myself. You can do it either before or afterwards, but definitely in that mindset is when you've done something that is out of your comfort zone, then always make sure to reward yourself as well from doing something that's really, really scary. And reward yourself for that. And whatever it is that you like to do, it doesn't always necessarily mean you have to buy yourself something. It can be just putting on some music and just boogieing a little bit and doing that I quite like to do. And because I'm a big one as well, like for movement. So being able to sometimes move that energy and move how you're feeling is when you do dancing or you go for a walk, go for a run, then you're changing your mindset because you're changing your energy as well if you've had to do something that is a little bit scary. So for me, a lot of the time now it's picking up the phone and calling people and being like, hey, do you need some help with your speaking? So a lot of the times that can be super scary when you're having to call people that you potentially don't know, and a lot of those inner voices come up. So when I do that and I've done something a little bit scary for the day, then I put my music on. Excellent, guys. Well, it sounds like everybody's got some amazing things that you do in order to help with your mindset. I hope what I've given you today is another bit of value, a bit of help as well. If you're watching on replay later, then pop in #replay and play along with us, and I will keep checking on the comments later and be able to answer any of your questions that you may have later on. If anybody doesn't have any more questions, then I will wrap up. I'll give it a few seconds in case anybody does. If not, then I will wrap up and we will see each other back here next Monday. So if people do have any topics that they would like me to hone in on, then pop them in the comments of this thread, whether it's replay or now. Let me know for next week, and I'm more than happy to chat about some things. Ask me any questions, and I'm always more than happy to be fully honest with you with anything that people ask. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me live. For everybody who has been on live, I super love it when we get to engage and have those conversations. Let me just check. I think someone... You're welcome, Courtney. So yeah, if you can come on live, because it's amazing how we can then have a bit more conversation, and I can really be able to help you more. If you can't, that's fair enough at these times. Bye, Scott. And then that's okay, because replay is absolutely fine as well, and you can ask any of those questions. All right, guys, I will see you all again next week. I'll be posting some different things this week in the group to help you a little bit more in your journey. And I'll see you all live next Monday.